everybody, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this short video on these tile covers that well, you can download the files from Thingiverse, and I have put those in the description. This is based on the Nemesis tiles, but if you have a game that has any of these sort of types of tiles for map tiles and things, it would apply to those as well. So in the case of this game, the tiles can be shuffled around, and any of those sort of games where they do actually move the tiles around, you will find that the edges will start fluffing up, and that they are only cardboard, and people would like to protect them. There is some files on Thingiverse for making the tiles for this shape, so you can actually put a hard shield, as it were, around the tile, and then just, you know, use them from that. Now, one thing, it's very important to note that when these are on, they will not go back in the box in the case of Nemesis, so they will have to be stored separately. So you need to be aware of that. You will not be getting these back into the box. And in the base game there are 20 tiles. I forget what there are in the other expansions and the latest Kickstarter and so on, but I think there's 24, 25 in the another one, and same again in the expansion. So there is a lot of tiles. So first of all, I'm going to show you what you need to do to what the little problems you might get for printing your own. I do have these in my shop. There is a link for them there, so we'll go by what we've got on here. So the cover itself is in two parts. There is a part that has a recess all the way around it, and then the top part is a sort of thinner part, and these will then snap into place on the top. So effectively you'll put your tile in the bottom part there, sits nice and comfortably in there, and then you'll line up the top part, it's a lot thinner, and then literally snap it into place, going round as it moves round, and push those down, and it'll make a bit of a sound, and you can get on top of it and really press them into place, and there you have it. A little bit of manoeuvring around, and that's it, and then it's locked in there. So that is another tile done. But some key points that we need to be aware of when printing, and this won't go for everybody, but this is the experience I've had. Certainly if you dial your settings in specifically, and some printers print differently from others, it's just the nature. It can be variant from the different types of material that we use, to the temperatures, to so many different elements, and I've tried a few and I still keep coming across on the same problems. And one of those problems is that certainly for the ones that I print and put out, is that when you get the top parts, the bottom parts, the most that you might find is that you might get some very sort of wispy hair type figments. Most of these bits can be cleaned up with your fingers, most of the parts, so there may be the odd wispy hair bit, but there's nothing to do with the bottom part. That's absolutely fine as it is. On the top part there are some things to notice, and they are some little lugs. So we're going to zoom in and I'm going to show you a little bit more on the detail of that. Put very simply, there are six of these lugs, as they were, that will snap into the bottom part around the outside. Now the problem is that when printers are printing such thin section, they can make the end parts where the ooze takes place, where it sort of oozes the plastic here. Now you can dial that out more and more and more, lowering the temperatures all the time, a bit more retraction. You won't eliminate it completely, or I failed to eliminate it completely. Realistically, you should print these in resin if you don't want to go that far, but it does leave like a little bulb on the end, and they are too much to snap into these recesses here. So we need to trim those off, and it really is. And then maybe a little bit of artifaction around the outside. This is one of the problems with printing such small items on here. But very simply, we get, I'll just get a thing, is some side cutters and place them there and get a deep V and snap them off. That's it, and just go around the outside. So there you can see we've just nipped off that and do it all the way around. It takes seconds really, so it's not a big deal, and then you'll end up nipping off that sort of bulbous bit on the end. Now I've got these side cutters. You can use nail clippers. I wouldn't use a Stanley knife or anything. I mean, these are cheap as anything, and if you are a modeler or a gamer, you'll have something like this around. So wire snippers, side cutters, anything like that is always in somebody's toolbox somewhere, and you will be able to nip that corner. Now you will need to repeat this all the way round, and then effectively it will then do that snapping as we showed you before. So that is really the only bit of prep, and like I say, you could, well, it takes 30 seconds to do the whole lot going round, so that's pretty good. So that's a little close-up of that process there, and like I say, you can go around, sort of cut them deep as well. Just a little tip is get that angle right the way down. You don't, these lugs will keep your parts together, you don't need the whole thing, and just make sure you go down to the base. As you can see, it just takes a moment to nip round, get those off, and the tolerances are such that it really is a fairly straightforward thing. Now, because these particular ones I'm using have been adapted from the Thingiverse file, it has left it, because on the Thingiverse file you'll notice that these pieces actually go all the way round, but I found that an issue, so I shortened them. But what it did mean was that the top section is a lot thinner. Now what does that mean for you folks? Well, what I will say is this: once these are on, they're on, okay? I do supply some spares in the packs. However, please notice that if I wanted to now separate these, and whilst they are a super fit, they're not 100%. There is a slight gap that can be worked out. So depending on pre-prep, once again it comes back down to the top. You might want to go over with a little bit of paper. It's entirely up to you. It sounds like a bit too much more faff. They do what they do. They're excellent. Nice and tight, no movement around, so they will protect your tile on there. But do know, now coming back, if I was to try and take these off, I would have difficulty. I'm not saying they won't come off, they will come off, they will not damage the tile. However, you will, because of the lift, bend things. I don't know if you can see that too well on the camera, but there are some light marks here. Those are bends in the part, okay? So it's really can be a little bit, you can ease them off, it's not a problem. So if you're going to sell the game, or you want to take them off and put them, get them packed away, it is not a problem. But they are pretty much snapped into position and intended to be left in that position. So bear that in mind. Like I say, I do supply in my packs some spares for you to, just in case somebody's gone a bit mad with the cutters and you know, had a bit of an accident, so that's no problem. So this video, like I say, that's for the Nemesis tiles. It does apply to any form of this sort of shaped tiles. So if you're watching this video and have tiles for some other game that's similar sort of shaped tiles, then these will do the job for you as well. That's it. Any questions, give us comments in the comments below. That'd be super. Till next time, thank you very much for watching, and happy gaming.